I'm going to lead us now into a discussion about one teacher in particular, Ms. Blue. As you know, Ms. Blue has been here at Kimberly for 3 years, teaching 5th grade mathematics. I feel that we should rate Ms. Blue middle in the area of performance, and I have a couple of reasons why. First of all, when we look at her culture of learning, having gone in her classroom several times this year, I noticed that she has a lot of good systems and routines in place. Her kids are always engaged. She maximizes her instructional time. She differentiates each one of her content areas. When you go into the classroom and you ask those students, well, what are you working on? How do you know that this is your task? They are able to tell you, this is my group, this is my reading level, this is, what I'm supposed to do, and they're able to verbalize to you exactly what it is that she's asking them to do.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with Reese because I've had a chance to go in her room a couple of times this year, and her kids are definitely engaged. They definitely know the systems and the routines in the classroom, which really speaks volumes for the 5th grade that they're getting. That they're getting to the point where they really know what to do, and there's very minimal teacher prompting. As far as the engagement and essential content, I've also had a chance to observe her, and she really does she spends a lot of time really engaging those kids, and I can tell that she does a lot of planning beforehand, so she's always prepared. I've never seen an opportunity where I've come in the classroom and she was not prepared for her students, so I definitely would agree that middle would be a good rating for her.
And so I want to give a little bit of pushback because I do agree that when I go into the classroom, it gives the appearance that that some good instruction is happening. We've actually even used her, I think, a couple times to do some videos for the district as well as for our own staff to use. But where I'm challenged is her growth rate based on STAR is low for many of her kids. I mean, she has kids who are getting an 8 SGP, a 10 SGP, a 12 SGP. I have a couple 20s. Very few kids are meeting that 40 SGP benchmark that we got set. And so I just want to give a little bit of pushback on that.
I can agree because as I look at her STAR data right here, even though her students made growth, they made continuous growth towards meeting proficiency, it was very minimal.
So just hearing what you're saying, we all agree that she's working hard and she has a really good culture of learning, but that whole SGP and minimal growth, I think that is reason enough to probably drop down to the low category at this point for Ms. Blue.
Now, if we're going to go ahead and change our rating to look at putting her in the low category, what do you think, Ms. Reese, would be some next steps or things that we should talk about as far as what we should see in the classroom? Because what we have seen, or what I have seen, is that she has good teaching practices in place. So I would like to find a way that as I go in, we're able to support her
I
more.
think we need to go back and analyze those walkthrough data points and try to find out where the breakdown was. We do have to keep in mind the makeup of her class. She is a self-contained EIP teacher. However, students still should have made more growth than they did according to STAR. So I think we need to go back and analyze that data to see where the breakdown is.
I think along with that, we look at her lesson plans and make sure that they are tailored to meet the kids where they are and move them. Maybe not just looking at having the differentiated task out and the kids knowing what to do, but maybe looking at the level of rigor that is there in the classroom, and are the kids actually doing the heavy lifting, So I think if we go in with that lens, that'll help us kind of maybe see a little more clearly why isn't her students growing like they should.
And maybe we also need to look at how frequently she's assessing students too. That never really quite, yeah, because that way she can really catch the students that really need that additional help
and target that instruction based on that data.
So if we were to pick like 3 or 4 next steps, what are you suggesting, Ms. Reese, to be those next 3 or 4 next steps?
I think through observations, we look at, are the students doing the heavy lifting? Are her small group stations rigorous enough? And looking at the lesson plans to ensure that they also are written with a level of rigor so that we can address some of these things on the planning table.
I think that sounds like a good plan. Let's go on and capture, this mid-year rating, and then come back and look at where she might fall later in the year once we've been able to